So has everybody watched the Ghostbusters trailer?
Watched it like a dozen times.
That's
I watched
excessive.
it 3 times.
That's
No,
still excessive. I watched it just the one time.
Well,
Was
I
enough.
watched it once.
I didn't
I
watch it.
watched it once without sound.
You
Go
didn't
watch
watch
it
I
real
it?
watched
quick.
it.
I
I watched it once with it work.
I fucking forgot it, Rob.
Look it up real quick.
Yeah, go
Go
watch it
watch
real
it.
quick.
Okay,
Well, we
It's
get
it's just
we
a
get to
quick
see him-
discussion at the
we get it-
beginning.
Yeah,
but
we get
still.
to see him live react.
I know. I'm excited for this
Oh, that'd be perfect too.
because I watched it a couple times on my phone. Then I watched it again when I got home. I watched it on my laptop, and then when Caitlin got home, I was like, she was been busy all day. So I asked her, I was like, "Did you get to watch the trailer yet?" It's like, "No." I'm like, I pulled out my chair. I'm
You're like, we're gonna watch it 3 times
"Sit down.
together
Let's
right
go."
now. What's up?
Do y'all hear that?
No.
Okay, cool. Y'all can keep talking.
Oh
No,
no, we're
we're
just gonna
watching
watch.
you.
We're on you. In unison.
It's great, Dustin. It'll make you.
Why does this look like Jaws?
No,
Just
no.
watch it.
No, it looks like the day after tomorrow. The beginning. Just think
Oh,
of it.
yeah,
Watch,
trust us.
watch,
Yeah.
watch.
This is going to be the B-roll. This is going to be like Dustin live reacting to the trailer.
It Dustin waiting until the last fucking minute to do anything. That's what it is.
Procrastinating.
Procrastinating Dustin. I feel like I should watch this with you.
Rob, you've watched it enough. You're probably playing the exact part in your head right now where he's at without even knowing where he's at.
Like you just saw old girl freeze.
The fuck was that?
I just
watch it.
I did.
Enjoy.
It was nice to. I forgot that Paul Rudd was in the last one. So when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, Paul Rudd! What? How'd they get him?" And I was like, "Wait, I'm dumb."
This is definitely being the B-roll now. The audio side is just going to be like, they're not saying anything.
It's just Dustin's facial expressions. He looks angry at it.
Well, I'm now
Dun, dun,
doing like
dun.
speaker screen as well. So
Mhm.
I'm going to start like incorporating that into the video side. So like the entire like video B-roll is just going to be like Dustin's face. Just be like,
What the fuck is
What
happening?
the fuck is going on in this?
Can you do like screen within a screen and put like the Ghostbusters?
you could share your screen.
Well, no, I'm talking like you, like for the when you're editing. Can you put like the trailer in there, like in like
No.
Dustin's face?
No.
What's up, Dustin?
I don't
you
want
have
to
a
do
question?
that. I don't want to get.
No, I mean we'll talk about it here in a second.
Okay.
I'm fucking baffled.
Well, does it look good to you?
I mean, yeah, it's
Yeah.
just okay. Well,
No,
Let's
talk about it in a second.
let's start
get
the
into it.
episode and let's get into it. All right.
Welcome to the Centerless Society.
But these are fictional characters. Fictional characters. Am I getting through to you?
ready to see a grown ass man cry about some Star Wars and Space Wizard?
You shall have my
Tom Bombadil walks up and he's basically like, "Oi, get off him!" And the tree's like, "Oh my bad."
Let's all have a good time and have fun.
And welcome back to the Centerway Society, the podcast where we discuss things and have a good time and all the fun of the fair. I am Rob. I am going to be your host this week. And before we get started, I know last week we decided that we were going to skip over the Marvel's fan theories because Marvel burnout is real. We're gonna talk about Jon Favreau. We're gonna start our director's cut series. We're gonna get into that, but first we're gonna do something
Getting as
completely
far
different.
away from Marvel as possible.
But hey,
By
we
talking
also
about Jon-
by talking about the man that pretty much put Marvel on the map for the,
Heck,
for
I
the
got it.
movies.
That's not our fault. That's the wheel's fault. All right. That's not on us. Besides, he has other stuff. Anyways, but before we get into that, we are going to discuss something else, something that dropped today. We are recording on Wednesday, November 8th. We have plan on starting to talk about something. But first, let me introduce the guys. I got nothing. I was gonna write down some
Just-
stuff.
Just
No,
introduce us. Not a big
it's
deal.
it's Jordan because this he likes to
Hey.
introduce. Yay! We got Dustin,
Regular hair.
Regular
hair.
hair. Regular hair. Yep.
and then we got the samurai hair himself. It's James. What's up?
Hi,
James?
I'm James. What's your favorite color? You'll find out later in the
You'll
episode.
find out later in
guys.
the episode. But let's start this
What?
episode doing
Okay.
something. We'll get into it. But first, let's start off this
I love
episode.
how Rob knows it though.
What
Look
did
at
I
his
get
name.
left out on?
Look at his name. It's what do you think?
Oh.
Anyways, moving on.
Oh, I didn't see his name.
Yes. Anyways, moving on. We are going to start because today, November 8th, 2023, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire dropped their first trailer.
Yeah.
And if you
And-
have seen The Day After Tomorrow, it's essentially the same thing in the same state.
But with
No, it's-
Ghost.
Yeah,
No,
it
it's
kinda
not.
is.
It
Okay.
happened in New York.
Yeah.
It happened in the entire country.
But where was his son at?
He was in New York City. Yes,
that's
but-
all I'm saying. No, the when I was watching, I was like, this is way too happy. It's very summer vibes, cool, awesome.
Yep, yep.
And then boom, it hit, and I swear to God, the scene of the guy that was in the car that like looks up, I was like, did they actually steal that scene from The Day After Tomorrow? Like did they use
No,
extra-
I felt like they stole that from like either Independence Day or Armageddon.
Dude, I'm telling you, that scene, I was like, this is The Day After Tomorrow. I've seen this movie.
I mean, I know you said it didn't look like Jaws, but the beginning looks like Jaws. Then it looks like The Day After Tomorrow, and then Patton Oswalt shows up. People get run through by spikes. What the fuck is happening in
by
this?
by the way, like I mean, Ghostbusters has always had the to some degree, right? There's always been death in it, but like not the way that
Yeah.
they're showing it in this.
Yeah, that was
Like that,
brutal.
that threw me
Yeah.
off.
Because you
Well,
know
that's the
you,
thing,
you have
no.
to you have to assume that in like the originals, innocent bystanders, someone died, right? At least someone
Somebody got smashed by a
from
marshmallow
but
man.
but it's not the focal point. They don't explain that like someone's getting killed. But in this one, it's like the Iceman or whatever is coming, whatever the thing is, and it's like people in New York are literally freezing to death and getting spiked, and it's like, what the fuck?
This is going to be a lot more hardcore than any of the other.
I think it is.
Does it
Wait,
have
could
like
this-
Metalocalypse vibes to you guys at all? Like,
A
you,
little
you
bit.
know, like the
Yeah.
people are dying and it's like,
Yeah.
man, but they're also still laughing.
Yes, yeah. But I think it was just a surreal thing for me because like I'll be the first to say I'm not the Ghostbusters guy here. I've enjoyed all the movies and stuff like that, but I'm not huge into the fans, like the fan sides of it, and everything like that. It's good. I'll watch it here and there, but like even being a not a huge fan into it, I was just flabbergasted when they brought up the whole death aspect of it, and they show someone literally freezing to death on a screen, and they're like it's a normal thing that happens in Ghostbuster, and it was like, what?
Well,
Like I
that's
know
the thing.
I know people have died over time and stuff. Like for instance, the last movie was Afterlife that they
Yeah.
did. Like obviously the one guy dies. He's been dead
Yeah,
as
Egon died, and that
yeah.
was like. But that's the thing, though. Like, even in Ghostbusters 1 and 2, they didn't show death.
No,
Like, no one specifically died. I mean,
But
yeah,
you
it probably
had-
happened.
You
like,
have to
randomly
assume
off
someone
screen.
did. Yeah.
Yeah, but they never really showed it or brought it up.
But this was like they brought it straight up in the trailer. Like, yep, there's people freezing to death. And
oh
it's like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
yeah. This is
Are they actually okay? Here, I'm being dumb. All right, but I'm throwing it out here. We need content and shit, right? Are they actually freezing to death, or are they just freezing? Is this going to be like one of those
Yeah, well,
Disney
they
bullshit things?
Where they're like frozen and then all of a sudden everything's cured and then like they thaw out and they're like, oh, what happened?
Oh wow! I'm
True
glad
love.
we
Well,
call it the Ghostbusters.
in the trailer though, they actually say freezing to death though, don't
Yeah.
they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Patton Oswalt's like, how hardcore is that?
Yeah, right. Which
I
is
mean-
probably out of context for what the scene is, but
yeah,
that was how Ray explained it in the trailer. That
Yeah.
these people were literally dying of fear. Like fear itself is killing them and causing them to freeze to death.
did anybody else
So-
just get like a cult of personality, like living like fear but fear itself. That's all I could think of.
Song was ruined for me.
What? You didn't like cult of personality?
No, I used to love it. Used to think that was an amazing song, and then CM Punk started walking out to it.
Oh, yeah, I'm not that guy. I'm
Yeah.
not that I know who he is, but I don't watch it.
It's
Well, he's kind of.
I know
Anyways,
he.
kinda
I know
screwed
he.
himself
I
over.
know.
We're not.
I know he was.
This isn't a wrestling podcast.
I
right?
know it isn't, but I know like people loved him, and when he made his comeback, people loved him, and all of a sudden now people hate him. That's all I know.
I've
That's-
never been a fan of the guy, but anyway.
Yeah, let's move on.
Oh,
But honestly, no.
The fuck is that?
oh,
It's this
James, would you
Ghostbuster
explain?
prop.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, once again, not the biggest Ghostbusters guy.
I'm not really either. Like I almost enjoy it more because James and Rob enjoy it. Like in all honesty, like their enthusiasm for
I'm
it
pretty
is
sure-
like
I'm
this
pretty
is
sure I
fun.
went-
Ghostbuster shirt.
I'm pretty sure I went and saw Afterlife just because I know Rob was probably wanting to discuss it at some point.
I love that movie. That was
was- it
so
was-
good.
It was a really good take on Ghostbusters, and I think they're building the future of Ghostbusters with these younger actors, and I hope at least this is what they're doing is it's like a tossing the mantle from old to new heads, and hopefully these younger kids that are like anywhere between 15 to like 23 get to live their whole lives like the OG crew and do Ghostbusters, and then continue making movies for it, and doing like a plot and having like a legit story that plays out. Be dope if they do that. That's the only thing I could think of when I saw that they're bringing like the younger characters back.
Well, that was the one thing about this that I'm really excited about is the fact that I loved Afterlife. Afterlife was
It was good.
great movie to
It was
me.
good.
I really
how
enjoyed
do
it.
you reboot
However,
the franchise?
It's how you reboot the franchise, yes. But at the same time, they took so many elements from the original Ghostbusters movie
Oh yeah.
that it felt almost like a rehashing of Ghostbusters 1. It's just a different spin on it. This feels brand new. Like
Yeah, this
they're
looks
not
brand-
pulling from anywhere else.
This isn't
They're
what's
not-
the main villain in like the originals?
It's not
Gozer.
Gozer.
Yeah, it's not. That's
No.
not Gozer.
It's
at
not
all.
Gozer, but at the same
when-
time, it's not Vigo the Carpathian.
I was gonna
From
say
Ghostbusters 2.
when they
Because that
first
was-
announced the sequel, that's what everybody was talking about. Vigo's coming back.
Everyone thinks that it was going to be
Yeah.
Vigo coming
Yeah.
back. This looks like it's something brand new. Either that, or they pulled it from either the comics or the cartoons.
Or it is Vigo and they've changed what Vigo can do.
That would piss me off so much.
It's a question because I have only ever watched the movies. I don't know if this is like a Star Wars thing where there's like extended lore.
There's
and
extended
is.
lore.
Yes.
There was a cartoon TV show. There was
Comic
comic
books.
books. Yeah.
Do we know who the fuck they're going up against? Like who can do this?
I don't remember this. I don't remember this at all. So I am kind of curious. I'm probably going to do a little bit more research on it to see what exactly it's supposed to be.
I do know there is an episode where they have like some sort of winter. I don't think I have to go back and look because they actually the coats that Paul Rudd and them are wearing toward the end are a callback to that episode.
So what?
Okay.
Just real quick, screen rant. Ghostbusters: Frozen Empire introduces a new and original villain, the Death Chill,
Original.
who brings
Okay.
a breath of fresh air to the franchise. So brand new, never seen before character that's going to be showing up in this.
Can't
was
wait.
I was kind of hoping that they were going to start pulling a supernatural and they're just going to be like opening up like a book of like some kind of like religious text and being like this motherfucker sounds evil, like have him
Right.
face up.
Right.
It's a possibility because Ray has a
Oh my God! What if
bookstore of the
what if-
occult. So
What if they bring Gozer to fight this?
Like team up with their previous villain.
Hey, has that not happened before in cinema? Where you bring in the
It's
where you
like-
bring in
I
the
would
foe
hate
like a
to
Dragon
fight?
Ball Z trope, like, oh, we used to be enemies, but now we're besties.
Yeah,
I would
so-
hate that like to no end. But that's just me.
It
I don't know about you.
definitely- It definitely looked like it like we were saying it's a passing of the torch because it looks like Winston is kind of like heading over this, and then Ray's just running his bookstore. So they're
Yeah.
going to
Yeah.
Ray for advice.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll just gotta
Do you-
wait and see what happens.
Do you, hold on real quick. Just put it out there now.
Yeah.
Does any of the original die in this?
Ooh.
We have a bad track record with this.
I know we do. That's-
Specific
I would
conversation.
think this would be the way they got Bill Murray to come back, though.
If Pete Venkman died,
Yeah.
that'd be a kick in the balls.
Will we even
mean,
be able to console Rob
realistically,
after this?
realistically, like they're like what 75, 80 at this point,
Yeah.
based off of like
I mean-
Ghostbuster lore.
I really enjoyed like how they embraced like Harold Ramis's death. and the death of Egon.
Oh,
in
I think
Ghostbusters
they
Afterlife.
I think
So,
they did that. I think that's partially why I liked Afterlife so much is they played tribute to the actor in his role, and he had been dead since what, like 2014 or something like that, or
something
12.
like that. Yeah.
It was
And-
before
and
the reboot.
It was way before the reboot for this stuff.
Yeah.
And they paid tribute to the actor and gave the last like thing essentially to show this what this character is going to do and how it plays out, and gave him kind of like a, I don't know, a role of, you know, savior to a degree at the end, even though, you know, he dies, and we know that the actor in real life has passed away himself. And it was very beautiful the way they did it. I thought, like, if you're going to do that, that's the way you do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm legit, like, you know, new Ghostbusters might be a thing that I have to keep up with.
As you should, especially for this show. So that comes out March, and spoiler alert for our year in review podcast that we're doing later in December. This is going to be one of my what I'm looking forward to in 2024. This is going to be such a great
Do we know
movie.
when in March?
March 29th.
Yeah,
29th.
I
Oh.
looked it up so I can make sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited. This is going to be such a great movie. So,
James, you have plenty of time to fly, so we can all go see
Yeah.
it.
That would be
You know-
cool, but Tawny wants to go see it too. So
she can go see it by herself.
yeah.
I was just gonna say she could come with the, you know,
Come too, I
damn, bring
And
Gabe
that's-
too.
Dude, we could all go down there as well, and we could have Whataburger.
Oh,
I
man,
don't know if
teach
I'd
all
go to Florida for Whataburger. You know what I mean? Like,
If I go to Florida, I would A, have to bring Caitlin, and B, have to go to Orlando. So,
So you could come down here for Bucky's.
I mean, we
Yeah.
have we have Bucky's at home, which is like Wawa for us, kind of.
I do like
We
Wawa.
got Wawa too. So
Wawa's great. So,
Y'all have Wawas now?
well, we have them like we're getting one in Pensacola, but they're
Yeah.
all over
They're-
South Florida.
I
they're-
remember when Wawa used to not be below like New Jersey.
Yeah, they if you look at the map for Wawa, it's like New Jersey to North Carolina, everywhere, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
nothing.
I like to think that it's like a cultural trait. At some point, like Florida was like, you know what?
We'll
We'll give you a Publix. You know, we get
You
Wawa.
give us a Wawa, right?
Listen, I'm one of those guys who emails companies. Like I've been emailing Wawa and Texas Roadhouse and
Why?
7-Eleven to come back to Walton. I'm like, look, y'all need to move closer to me so I can have it all the time.
they're
You know,
like
somebody's in the office like, who the fuck is he?
yeah, they're like, so Florida man is still
Go
emailing
to
us?
Florida?
Like
I don't wanna go to
they
Florida.
got 7-Eleven all over the east of Florida, but like our area, we've got Tom Thumb, Cumberland Farms, I think is what it's called now, and Stefco.
The fuck is that?
They're gas stations and they're crappy.
About
Well,
to say, I don't know
that's
that 7-Eleven isn't in a place. Same thing
I-
with like Dollar General. They just pop stuff up right where nothing is.
Dollar General just like grows in overnight. It just like
Have you, Rob? Have you
one day
seen-
there was like a field, the next day it's a Dollar
Have you,
General.
dude? So Matthews, you know where Twix Ferry is, where the gas station is? They're putting one
Mhm.
right there, right behind it.
Are you serious?
I kid you not. Out of nowhere, I drove down
There's
the road.
already 3 Dollar Generals in
I-
Matthews.
I know, but I was driving and I was like, oh, they're clearing the field. I was like,
we
how
are
funny-
really getting off topic.
It's fine. How,
Okay,
how
can I
funny?
bring
How
up
funny
what
would
the-
it be to be a Dollar General? Next time I drove by, future side of a Dollar General. I was like, you gotta be fucking shitting me.
Okay, can I bring up something real quick?
Yeah.
Sure.
I was in Gloucester yesterday, and I
And
have
you
joked
didn't
about
call
this.
for us to get lunch or anything.
Well,
No,
no,
he
I was
doesn't like us. So
Well, I wanted to, but I had to get to Ashland right after.
Oh.
Anyway, I have joked about a 7-Eleven being right across from a 7-Eleven, and
It's
that
there.
happens in Gloucester of all fucking places.
it's
one
not
ar-
right across the street. It's just down a little bit and across
It's
the
like
street.
one store over.
You
I
may
hit
as
my
you
mic.
may as well call it like across the street. It's so
It is.
close.
It really is.
Like
So-
If-
James
if,
is
if you
over-
can stand,
It's like less than
pumping-
a
if you
tenth of a
can-
mile.
If you can pump gas and look right here, and there's another one.
No,
it's across
seriously,
the
you're
street.
coming out of 7-Eleven.
Yep.
If you look to your left, yeah, it's right there.
Okay, this is like what's the saying? Like I'm a man dying of thirst watching another man drown. Like James is over here fucking. I wish I had a 7-Eleven. Y'all in Gloucester have one
like-
across the road from each other.
We have like 18 in our tiny
I
little
have more
county.
than 7-Elevens within 7 minutes of me. I have like 70 7-Elevens. I'm joking, obviously.
James is like, can I please get a Slurpee?
Can I have one,
Look.
please?
So we go to Orlando. We used to go to Orlando a lot, and there's a Wawa and a 7-Eleven like right around the corner from my hotel.
Yep.
So I would go get a sandwich from Wawa and then go right across the street and get a Slurpee from 7-Eleven.
Meanwhile, Tawny's like, what's so special about the Slurpee? We have Slurpees at home. It's called Ices. He's like, it's not the same.
Really
Not
isn't
the same.
though. I
no,
know.
it's not.
All right.
We have
let's-
Slurpees
let's-
at home.
All right, back on topic, guys. All right, let's get into what we're actually here to talk about.
Yes.
And that is our director's cut series, where this actually spawned off of our Halloween horror month that we did, where we were talking about directors and their works and everything. And we had such a good time doing that. We decided to actually, do that with other
Do it.
directors, not
Yeah,
just
we just-
horror
just
directors.
do it.
Just do it. They're gonna get it done.
Do
So
it.
we got our randomizer out and we
Not
decided
tomorrow, today.
we got our randomizer out and we put in a bunch of directors. And who did it give us as we suffer from Marvel fatigue?
A man
Jon
who's been in
Favreau.
multiple Marvel movies.
Well, technically, he's only directed 2.
He's
Yeah,
been
but
in.
he's
been
acted in
in
one like
multiple.
6.
He's been in one before he directed though. He was in Daredevil.
Yeah,
Ben
he was
Affleck
Foggy.
Daredevil.
Yeah.
He was Foggy Nelson.
Oh,
How many has he
yeah.
been? He's in 1. Are we counting What If?
Oh.
Because that'd be 2, 3, 4,
Did he voice in
5.
What If, or was he just
He
happy just in
voiced.
it? Then yeah, you have to include
Yeah.
it.
6. So he was in 8 Marvel movies.
There you go.
Well, not counting Ben Affleck Daredevil. So
Which is probably going to come up at some point in the multiversal stuff. So just go ahead and count
Because
that 9.
why not?
yeah,
Yeah.
why
At
not?
this point.
So,
Well, yeah,
I mean, he has acted. He's been around for a really long time.
he has.
Man,
man, I think-
1992 was his first credited, and the first time I ever saw him in anything.
Friends,
No,
really?
Replacements. Oh,
Rudy was the first
Rudy.
movie I ever saw him in. He played D-Bob,
Yeah, I know he was in it.
Rudy's best friend.
Replacements was my favorite that I've seen him in.
Replacements was good. That is
Oh
a
my
fun
god,
movie. To
he was
watch.
hilarious.
He was really good in that.
Wearing red. Don't get red.
I think
That
one of
was-
my favorite scenes of his of all time is it was Paul Rudd too. What's the movie?
All right.
Is it I Love You Man?
Oh,
Yeah,
he was in that.
Him and Jason Segel, and he's in it. He
Yeah,
plays like
Barry
he plays
in I
yep,
Love
he
You, Man.
plays a husband. And there's a scene where like Paul Rudd's trying to get to know some of the guys because he didn't really have like a lot of people to invite to his like to be like his best men and men of honor and all that type of stuff, right? So they're like hanging out, drinking heavily, playing cards, and it's like him and Jon Favreau competing in it, and they're drinking, and then Paul Rudd's character just vomits all over him, and he's just sitting there like, I'm so sorry, and he's like, get the fuck out of my house, get the fuck out of my. It's like one of my favorite scenes of him of all time. So fucking good. Get the fuck out, Pete.
I mean, the man has a long list of everything.
Yeah.
Like
He plays
from
like a lot
acting
of
to
crazy
directing.
men too.
Yeah.
That's true. Because he was in 4 Christmases too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say the first 2 that come to mind are Four
His,
Christmases
his-
and
To my knowledge, his first
Yeah.
directorial credit though was it's not.
Nope. No,
What's
it's
his
not.
first direct? What's his first directorial?
He has a movie that he did his first
Bad Cop, Bad
actual
Cop.
big one.
Bad Cop.
Oh,
Then he did Smog, and then he did a movie called Made. It was
That was the
after
first one
that,
I ever remember seeing him in.
Made.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the first like real success that he had was Elf,
was Elf? Yeah.
which is probably top 5 best Christmas movie of all time.
What
My opinion.
it was what he was known for until he went and essentially
Yes.
booted up the whole MCU.
That's true.
Elf, I don't know about you guys, but like I was at that age where I was like, I didn't really care about it too much, but my sister watched it 14 fucking times in a row. when it first came out, and I went through phases of like, oh, that was pretty good, to I hate this movie with every fiber of my being.
Yeah,
And now I'm kind of like, you know what, it's pretty good. I like it. You know,
It's
I'll
on
be
my
honest.
list.
At no point, I don't think I think there's been funny parts of it, but at no point have I ever been like overly joyed about. Like if it's on, I'll probably turn it on to turn something else on. I've never been the biggest fan of Elf, but I do know I know why people enjoy it. I get it.
I will watch it at least once during the Christmas season.
It's in my top
And,
5.
and I feel like that's fair, but like I don't know that I'd watch it any other time.
yeah.
I mean, but I'm just looking through this. But let's get into his directing credits. Are you raising your hand, Dustin, or are you fixing?
No,
he's
I'm
camera.
trying to adjust this light.
Oh,
It's
okay,
sort of
just
on-
making
Oh,
sure.
that's what looks weird.
So let's get a little bit into his directing credits, because I'm looking on IMDb at some of the things he's done. And obviously, like, he has directed random TV shows, which honestly, that's like, if you listen to anything Kevin Smith has done, especially his what is it? The last stand-up he did before he had his heart attack. He was talking about how when you come in to direct like an episode of a TV show, you're really not doing much of anything, because everything just kind of runs at that point. So I really don't take directing, especially like one episode of a TV show, I really don't take that to heart. But if you look over,
Depends
know
on the
if I agree
series.
with that,
Yeah,
yeah.
it depends on the series, because you can have, for instance, like, just to give you an idea, like a lot of people fell in love with Ryan Johnson because of his episode he did with Breaking Bad, that it was so different than what everybody else had done with it. Dustin,
I knew that was
Worst
coming.
episode.
I know how you feel about it. But what I'm saying is there are some degree of changes that can happen. Not just
Well-
you're there and you're a stand-in and you're kind of just like, hey, shoot.
but what this is like your standard 30-minute. Like, he's done an episode of Young Sheldon, he's done an episode of The Office.
I was gonna say
Hey.
that was on I saw that shocked me.
He did an episode of Undeclared. I'm just saying, like,
He's done a lot.
He's done a lot, but I'm looking at his movies, and like, besides like Iron Man and Elf, and maybe
Are you going to say The Jungle Book and Lion King aren't good?
I was gonna say
I
Jungle
never
Book's
watched
pretty
them,
good.
so I don't really care.
I like Jungle Book. I wasn't that big of a fan of Lion
But I
King.
mean, it's just-
Zathura was
it-
pretty decent.
It just seems like there's not a whole lot of home runs here.
I would say, on a personal note, I think Jon Favreau's strong point is more being a writer and producer than it is actually a director. He has directed great movies, and I don't think anybody could deny that. But I don't think that he brings something to the table that other people can't, as far
Yeah.
as his directing style.
Well, Chef was a really good movie. I enjoyed that, and he wrote that.
Yeah.
He wrote Made. He wrote Swingers, which was really good. Like, that came out in '96. That was a really good movie. And then, of course, there's his Star Wars stuff, but I figure we'll get into that closer to the end. So
Can we
that
go
way,
through a whole episode without talking about Star Wars? I'm not
No, we
mad
can't.
about it, but
I
it's
mean,
like,
you can in this. I mean,
in this particular instance, you can't.
yeah.
Good.
So
He's
there's
so
something
linked into Star Wars right now that
Yeah. So there's something that I've always stated when it comes to Jon Favreau.
what's
And it goes with my name right here that I named myself, which is John Savior. And there's a reason why my name is that. It seems like anytime something is either needing to be booted, like started up, or anything needs to be saved, this man is the man that steps in and does that.
he's the ringer.
He's the one that if you want to start
Yes.
up something, you give him the mantle and let him go with it. Or if you need him to come in, and while there may be some disenfranchised stuff going on with, whatever the franchise is, Star Wars, for instance, people are hot, pissed off, annoyed, and then comes in and does the Mandalorian. He kind of is the guy. He kind of is the guy that steps in and is like, okay, I'm taking the focus off the original trilogy, and I'm going to do my own thing and make this cool, like, space Western, and just make sure that everything about it, the dialogue, the plot, all that is good, and just have fun with it. So I've always been like, anytime honestly, if Jon Favreau wasn't so big into the MCU early on, obviously being, the make or break with Iron Man and all that stuff,
Yeah.
if it was going to create the future of the Marvel series, he should have been the guy, in my opinion, that DC doing so bad all the time, they should have picked him up when Marvel ended all the stuff with him to be like, hey, you need to be our Kevin Feige over here because we don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Now, okay, I like that point a lot, but do you think that this does as well as it does because he cares so much about Star
Yes.
Wars and Marvel?
I think
Or
so.
do you think that he could bring that to any project?
I think he could, well, specifically comics, right?
Yeah.
The reason Marvel did so well was because he has an understanding of the comics. He's a fan. He's stated it several times. He's also a huge Star Wars fan. So he actually cares to some degree when he's doing that stuff, writing, producing for these different, franchises. So are we going to say that he, as a kid, he read Marvel clearly, he enjoyed Marvel? We're going to say he definitely didn't read like DC comics at all. He had to have. So I'm sure I'm sure someone of his stature, even if he wasn't the biggest fan, he'd probably go and buy a huge collection and just get lost into the DC comics and storylines and draw from each thing and be like, hey, I want to do this, and I think it'd be a cool setup to get into here.
Man, I never even considered that. That would be amazing to see him do something like off the wall like that.
Yeah. He, in my opinion, is if your franchise is fucking up and you're trying to find a way out of the hole, he's the way out. No doubt in my mind.
I gotta push back a little on this.
All right.
Just because he's done it once.
I'm talking
Star
about
Wars.
booting
And Marvel.
booting or saving.
He did 2 movies for Marvel. He directed 2 movies.
But
That's
Yeah,
it.
but
If it wasn't for there was a lot of hands. Yes, it was the first Iron Man, the success of that movie, which led to being able to do Thor, being able to do Captain America, being able to do the Avengers. I understand that, but it's not like he did everything.
Well, let's put it this way:
Marvel
what if they
to
would
put
have
it on
started with like Thor?
Then we wouldn't be having this conversation about Jon Favreau.
Exactly. It had to be his movie that kicked it off.
Yes, it kicked it off, but he's not the savior of Marvel just because he did he did 2 movies. I apologize.
But to his point, they had done a lot of crappy Marvel movies before Iron Man.
Not MCU specifically, but Marvel. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I mean, even like the Incredible Hulk
that was
crappy.
Fox licensed by Marvel.
But
That was even Paramount licensed by Marvel.
But hold on,
I'm saying is that
writing and directing is one thing. He has a hand in producing too, though. So for instance, producing, he's got Avengers Endgame, he's got Avengers Infinity War, he's got Age of Ultron,
I know.
he's got the Avengers, Iron Man 3, Iron Man 2, Iron Man, and I think he's also somewhere on here for, I could be wrong, but I believe he had something in one of these Spider-Man as well. But I mean, that's
not a producing credit.
Not a producing credit?
Not a producing credit.
I don't see it either.
Oh, thought he did. I apologize. But regardless, he's got his hand in a lot when it comes to that. And to think that an executive producer does like nothing would be insane.
I'm not saying
we know they're all
nothing,
important.
but at the same time, he's not the complete be-all, end-all creative giant that made Marvel what it is today. Did he have a hand in it? Sure, absolutely. Without the success of Iron Man, you would not have the success of Marvel. I understand that. But if you look at the rest of his career, it's not like you have people like saying, oh, Jon Favreau will save this particular. The only other thing he's done that has like quote unquote saved the existence of the IP is Star Wars with The Mandalorian. And I absolutely 100% credit there. But I got to push back a little bit on that just because I understand what you're saying, but I don't think that's necessarily true. So I
mean, he's if you ask me, he's got
great.
Good. He's got good enough that you can give this man anything that he's interested in. He's going to
yes, but he has to be interested in it. It's not like you can give him
can't be interested in everything.
Write a check, say, here you go, fix this for us. He has to be interested in it.
Well, yeah, but that's what I'm saying is like I'm not saying anybody, first off, could go in and just do something. And I'm not saying that he's the guy that could do everything. But for instance, like I said, when he was done with his Marvel stuff, I don't know if he's still going to be doing anything in the future. I know his last thing was Endgame. Hasn't done anything since, well, besides acting in Far
Acting
From
in the
Home.
Spider-Man movies. Yeah.
Right. He just did that. But as far as like his writing, directing, producing credits for it, he has not done anything since Endgame.
Yeah.
When his stuff was done, if DC was smart enough, they should have probably looked at him and said, we need to see if we can, and they probably did, tried to get him to come in and build their stuff. To which he may have said, hey, look, I was a Marvel fanboy. I don't know that I could do DC because I'm just not that, I don't have that much depth into it. I have a few characters I like. That's about it, you know?
But at the same time, that wouldn't have happened because, like, say his last producing credit was for Avengers Endgame. What else happened in 2019? What other producing credit does he have in 2019?
It would have been Star Wars, right?
It would have been The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Disney already
And
had him tied up. There's no
The
way
Lion
that he
King.
would have been able to get him. Well, yes, The Lion King. Disney, the House of Mouse had him tied up. He wasn't going anywhere. He wasn't going to be able to like go to DC. He's probably didn't even have the opportunity to be approached because he was so tied up with Disney. Because what? He had like all the Avengers stuff. He had the Jungle Book. He had the Lion King, and then Star Wars. He's not going anywhere for a long time. I'm not saying he hasn't. He's done a lot of great stuff. It's why we put him on the list to talk about.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is like it's not like DC went the right direction with James Gunn. I think
we will see.
We will see, but
yeah,
I think
I wouldn't say that just yet.
With the Suicide Squad, that gave me a little more hope for the direction that DC is going to go in.
I'll be real with you. The Suicide Squad that he did, it wasn't anything special in my book. But
I thought it was
that's
good.
not saying
For
that
DC,
he couldn't do well.
It was good. So
yeah,
I got a question for you guys.
Yeah.
Like, in all honesty, this is a little fringy and like what if and shit, but we know where James Gunn went with it. If Favreau did it in this like multiversal question, right? Where do you think he starts with
like
DC?
what character?
Yeah, like in all honesty.
I think so. Here's the thing, and this is the thing I think James Gunn is going to have to deal with too. You want to go Justice League, right? Because that's like,
I think that's jumping the gun.
Well, no. I'm saying
not starting with Justice League,
hold on.
but you need to start to build it.
Hold on, yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm saying you want to you
want
to get to the point to where Justice League can pop off. But the issue you're sitting with is we already tried that, and are you going to do the exact same plan? Even if you executed it better, do you think you as an audience person, James, you seem to like DC more than I think all of us here to some degree. I enjoy DC, but I know that Marvel has bested them in every opportunity when it comes to doing some of their stuff in cinema. But would I, honest to God, myself, as a fan of comic book movies and superhero movies, do I want to see them, James Gunn, come in and just reboot and follow up to the point of Justice League again? No, I don't want to see that. So I don't know, honestly. That's a hard one. I don't know where you would start now.
I would think that you do need to build, maybe do like a New 52 type reboot type thing, like they did in the comics, where something happens and you get new people. Do not do the origin story. So come into a bit
like
more
Spider-Man
career.
Yeah, how they didn't kill,
they didn't kill Uncle Ben again.
Ben didn't
they
die.
just went straight into it.
But
Peter's already Spider-Man.
But they killed Aunt May now.
Yeah, but that was 3 movies though. That was 3 movies.
I know.
But
that's
I
kind of
I
a
do think you need
fascinating
to
thought.
about mid into their career. Yeah. I see him starting with Batman because Batman used to always be the starting point. He's and I'm going to undefend, or I'm not going to defend DC right. I watched a little bit of Flash this past weekend.
A little bit what?
Of the movie?
Yeah, I zipped through a lot of it.
It was bad.
I flashed through a lot of it, so to speak. I watched all the Batman stuff. But there's one thing that he said to Batman that made me go, he's the strategist. He's the guy who comes up with all the plans and stuff. That sounded perfect to me. That's where you should start at, so that you have this guy planning the Justice League and have that slow build over time.
That's the thing with
like
DC.
Marvel did.
With Marvel, like the big things were Spider-Man, X-Men, and then you get more into like the Avengers. Like as far as like the comic books and TV shows were concerned.
Well, that's where it all started. Era.
That's true. I will give you
Yeah.
that. This era like is Avengers, Captain America, Iron Man.
90s X-Men. Before that, it would have been like
Yeah.
Fantastic Four, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they started with Iron Man and they built towards the Avengers. They were able to do that. With Justice League, you have to start with the Holy Trinity. You have to start with
Yeah.
Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
See,
Because you don't have the Justice League without them. If you wanted to go DC, if you actually wanted to play the long game here, I mean, you could start with like Martian Manhunter. Do like I remember on Fire Bear, you guys talked about a Martian Manhunter movie that
John
was more of
Jones.
like
Yeah.
a detective type story.
Yeah.
Yes, I like vaguely remember that episode. But like start somewhere around there, do things a little bit different. But the problem with DC is that they just wanted to catch up to Marvel so quickly
Exactly.
that they screwed everything up. Right now,
Well,
if they have two ways to go about this right now. If James Gunn wanted to, A, clean slate, start over, play the long game. Don't try and catch up to Marvel, especially with everyone having Marvel fatigue right now to begin with. The only other way that he can start his is honestly take everything DC has done at this point. I'm talking TV shows, movies, everything. Crisis on Infinite Earth, destroy it all, have your select few left, and then build off of that.
Here's a hard thing to think about, though. How can you do your own, for instance, like Batman, for instance?
Yeah.
Great idea. How can James Gunn do his own Batman while there's a simultaneous Batman that I think, if I remember correctly, is not going to be a part of his universe?
Robert Pattinson.
Yeah, the Matt Reeves.
Yeah. Because it has nothing to do with DC universe at all. It's outside
Well, neither
of
does
James
the
Gunn's.
Joker either. So
Right. But what I'm saying is like how do you take a character like Batman to be redone for the fucking 1000th time when someone's currently doing it? You know what I mean? And actually,
Martha.
someone's currently doing it right now in a kind of a more artsier way than like a typical superhero movie.
And you kind of mid his career too. They're doing it right.
That's the difference. Is they're doing it in a correct way that was away from DC.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How do you take that character now, being James Gunn, when it's one of your honestly probably the most, besides Superman, probably most prominent characters DC has for their IP, to go and then create your stuff of it? I think personally there has to be some copy of MCU, but not in the way that you think. So, for instance, you said the only way to get to Justice League is you got to have your Holy Trinity, correct?
Yeah.
I think you have to scrap that entire idea now, because here's why. The original Avengers, Iron Man was included. Ant-Man was there. Ant-Man was not in the Avengers for MCU. Hulk was there. He was there. Thor. And then you have the Wasp. So 3 out of 5 of the original Avengers from the comics made it to the Avengers. But then we had others that played an important and integral role to that. So it's almost like I would rather see the Justice League that we know and love. Make it something new. Make it something different. Does it have to be Batman at the helm? Does it have to be Superman there? Does it have to be Wonder Woman? Does it have to be these characters to create the Justice League? Or can we go and pick new characters and try and do something new to it and bring it into the new age?
Well, hold on. Okay, so if we're doing this in the context of Jon Favreau doing it too, right? And kind of to your point a little bit, at the time, X-Men was more of the thing. Like, by no means am I saying that Avengers was not a popular team,
Right.
but X-Men was the shit, right?
Sure.
And he kind of rejuvenated a team within Marvel and made it what it is today. Like, Avengers is a household name.
Yeah, Avengers. I mean, it's so much to the point that Variety just put out a leak from the Marvel meetup where they're talking about possibly bringing back the original Avengers, like the characters that have died.
Yep.
Yeah, but they were taking teams that honestly nobody gave a shit about. Like, Iron Man is one of the most popular characters in Marvel right now, but like before that, they kind of joked on him. He was Buckethead and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like Guardians of the Galaxy, nobody gave a shit
cared about
Oh,
it.
nobody cared about
Yeah.
Guardians.
Maybe Favreau really wouldn't even focus on the Justice League at all.
I don't think you would. I think you have to go away from that or build it correctly. Not getting to the point like how it happened previously, because I don't think that they did that right, in my opinion, to begin with. But you'd have to either build it on a long game, or you just avoid that storyline and find something else. Maybe, honestly, you know what I would like to see? I'd like to
Justice
see
Society.
that would be fine, but I would more so like to see multiversal stuff going on, that you already have the hold on, that you have the context of this is happening. Like, you could do a whole Flashpoint arc, but it have nothing to do, not just one movie or one animated movie. Do a whole thing when you're in, you could have the Batman, the Flash Batman, do all that stuff, Flashpoint Batman, do a fucking whole storyline, do something in that. But then you have this content over here that has nothing to do with Flashpoint, completely different, separate things. I would be fine with that.
Well, that's
because you're we'll see. Like I said, they're not doing it 100% yet.
Patterson. Well, no, they've already. James Gunn has already laid out that he will have his like main continuity happening, but like the Patterson,
while there's other things, yeah,
right, happening over the side, like the Elseworld movies and stuff.
I think when it comes to money, though, you got to go with that, because those are their three big money makers: Batman,
Iron Man,
Wonder Woman, Superman.
Iron
Man.
Man.
I got you.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we're talking about two playboy billionaire philanthropists who dress up in a suit and go fight crime.
Oh, you think he's like one trick pony?
Batman,
like he starts off with Bruce Wayne. He's just standing there in front of a bomb going off. Like,
but to be fair, if you look at all of the movies Marvel did before the Avengers, none of them hit $1 billion. What happens? You take Iron Man, well, granted, the Hulk didn't have a movie before, but you add the Hulk into the team. You add him into the story. No. I'm talking about it's not technically.
The Incredible Hulk is MCU. The one with Edward Norton.
Technically, yes, it is.
Technically, yes, but most people would not even look at that movie. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm talking about specifically like they added the scene at the end to make it a part of the MCU with Robert Downey Jr. coming in and doing his little thing.
But it
was like
retroactively
like included.
It has.
It has been referenced throughout the MCU.
Yeah.
So it is part of canon.
I'm not saying it's not part of canon. What I'm saying is, like, that movie I wouldn't technically hold to this standard what I'm talking about right now.
Oh God, no.
But Iron Man, Captain America, all those movies that happened before the Avengers, none of them hit the $1 billion. But when you take 4 or 5 movies that built great characters and then you put them on a team together and build it up, the Avengers hits $1 billion because you're taking all these characters that people care about, with maybe some good actors, maybe some actors that have a higher up class and name just because of who they are, and you bring them into a role. Then you get your high selling movie, high selling team, and then you milk that from there. But you still have to milk it in a way that you're not going to piss your audience off, right? And that's what I think DCEU tried to do, and they were doing okay, and then it was like, what the fuck is happening?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for someone like a Favreau to reboot this, if we were thinking about him rebooting it, I don't think you can go Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman first. I think you have to build. And I think, weird as this sounds, I think almost one of those 3 characters has to be like 6th or 7th movie in, not in their movie, but a cameo into the movie as like hey, they're being introduced into the series now, kind of like you would in a comic where you have your first appearance.
Like they did with like Spider-Man not showing up until Civil War.
Yeah.
Technically, Spider-Man shows up in was it Iron Man 2?
Okay, well, yeah, that was also
which by the way, yeah, it was, but it was intentional because it's actually Jon Favreau's son who's in the mask. If you didn't know, fun fact.
I did not.
Yep.
Cool.
Yep. Max Favreau, I believe.
So I'm looking at what is the roster for the Justice League.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it's kind of big, isn't it? It's like the Avengers. There's so many different teams of it.
Quite big.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think of, I mean, you could try Green Lantern, but then again, they've tried that. Ryan Reynolds as Hal Jordan, and it went.
That's but that's hard though, because Green Lantern's it's a good character.
Yes.
But
there's so many lanterns.
There are. You'd have to pick which one you want to go and base the story off of that. But do you not do it just because we had one shitty movie with Ryan Reynolds in the era
they could definitely do it.
Shitty superhero movies? Like, let's be real, none of those movies were amazing. Some of the X-Men were good, but a lot of those movies fell short. Especially if you go back and watch them now, you're like, ugh.
Extra.
Honestly, if you're going to start with 3, which is kind of what they did, because you had Iron Man, Thor, Captain America,
Right.
leading into
that was
the
the big
Avengers
3.
movie.
I think you get it.
Green Lantern, Green Arrow, Martian Manhunter.
You know what would be fun?
There's a Arrow and Lantern both have name recognition and could bring people in.
I don't think that Martian Manhunter would be the one you'd want for your third.
Yeah.
But like they did in leading up to the Avengers, you have to have that cameo. So where Natasha Romanoff, ScarJo shows up in Iron Man 2, you want that small little build in to where they're going to come in the future and do that. So you have to have like a few of those characters too.
Yeah, but you could have Black Canary in with Green Arrow. You could have goodness, you could probably have Martian Manhunter in with the Green Lantern.
What you got, Dustin?
There's no way they're doing the Arrow thing again, right? like, come on. We had how many seasons of that television show?
8.
But
you mean Arrow Batman?
Yeah, they just took Batman stories. They were like, look, the only DC that works is Batman.
It's Batman adjacent.
No, but tell me this wouldn't be kind of fun, right? You're in the year, fuck, I can't remember. What is it, like 3000 or something? And you want to be a superhero so bad, right? You want to be as cool as all the people in Legends and everything like that. And you're too fucking lame to do it on your own in the world the way it currently is. So you go back in time and relive it from the beginning as Booster Gold.
Oh,
right? That'd be cool.
All right.
You can go back, you start like at the beginning of all of it, and you try and make a name for yourself. That'd be a cool way to start.
That would be.
You could
also do like a futures, like what you're saying, futures to some degree thing, but you could do like I think it would be cool to have, and you might make fun of me, but it is what it is. Jon Stewart as your Green Lantern, right?
No, he's my favorite one.
Right, yeah. Have his Nightwing instead of Batman, because we could have Nightwing, something different, right?
Okay.
I would throw in maybe Hawk Girl would be cool, something different, and then maybe Captain Atom.
Why not?
I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, you have
he got me with Nightwing. We're good.
That's James's favorite.
Have we? I'm not the biggest on the DC movies. I'll be honest. I haven't seen them all. Have we had any Nightwing?
No.
Like even like just the character.
Titans.
Just in Titans.
They are scared to put Robin in anything.
They're afraid to do Robin. They're afraid to do Nightwing. They're afraid to do Red Hood live action.
Ooh,
I don't know
Red
why.
Red
Hood's another good one. You know,
I would love
Battle for the Cow would be an amazing story to do in cinema.
Yeah, but then
why don't they do like and granted, this is Batman.
Okay. You don't have to have Batman.
Guys, you still have to have Batman to a degree, but it could be a small cameo of Batman while it's Nightwing and Red Hood going off. They're doing something. Oh my god. Anyway, all right, we need to get back into it.
Jon Favreau could do that one.
Yeah,
Jon Favreau could do all of this. Because we're talking about Jon Favreau.
If anyone can, Jon Favreau can.
You know what? Jon Favreau. Let's just keep on saying Jon Favreau and all this turns back into a Jon.
All right,
Favreau.
back to
what would
the guy we're actually supposed to be talking about.
What would Jon Favreau do?
Do you guys have like a favorite movie that he's been in? Or favorite besides Star Wars? Besides Star Wars, besides Avengers, no Marvel nor Star Wars.
That's fair. So I already mentioned the one scene of him in I Love You Man. I think that's hilarious. But he was also in oh man, hold on, I'm gonna have to go back and pull it back up. It's like a vacation movie.
Couples Retreat.
Him in that movie, he's kind of like he plays an asshole, which is fine, but he's also goofy in it. And like one of my favorite scenes is like obviously Vince Vaughn talking about they need to get back together, like to get under control and do all this stuff. And then he just like points to Jon Favreau, like, "You're a problem. You're a real fucking problem, friend." And I always love that scene. I don't know why, but like him in that movie was really good, I thought. So yeah, that would be one.
Honestly, I liked him in PCU. Have you guys not seen that?
No, I haven't. What is PCU?
PCU is basically this kid is going to a college for a weekend to see if he wants to go there. But PCU, politically correct university, where everyone has to be politically correct. But he gets brought into like this frat house, and not really, like this group of friends who are crazy. He plays a stoner who is trying to go see oh, what's his name? George Clinton, the Parliament Funkadelic.
Okay.
You guys know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
But he winds up trying to go see them, and his car breaks down or something like that, and he actually ends up like hitching a ride with them back to his college. So he's just like this stoner, like random guy. He's just random, stupid, goofy stuff. No, it's a pretty good movie. That's like early Jon Favreau. Like that's like his fourth credit he's done. Rudy being his third, which Rudy is still one of my favorite movies of all time. So if you like sports movies,
I will also say if you saw him in Friends, he did have a good, like, it wasn't a lot. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 episodes. Yeah, it was an arc of where
Pete
he
Becker.
he was Monica's boyfriend.
Yep.
And he, like, the reason they split up is he wants to go and do this MMA career. He's like a multi or 100 millionaire or something like that, probably equivalent of like a billionaire now, very very well off. But then
he's
he wants
Elon
to go
Musk at this point.
Yeah, but then he wants to go and like, because he has all the money, he can do whatever he wants. He wants to be MMA, and like gets his ass kicked and all this stuff. But it's a good arc. It's a really good arc, honestly.
Yeah,
I always enjoyed, because that's where I found him, was that when I was a kid.
Yeah. No, mine was Rudy. That's the first time I ever saw him.
Also, I did not know that he was in Batman Forever.
Yep.
Was he in Batman Forever?
He has a small role.
Yeah, he's credited as an assistant.
Yes.
Like, I guess in the movie.
Yep. So he was also in Deep Impact.
He was in Seinfeld for one episode. He was in
he's done a lot.
He was in The Sopranos for an episode.
Wow.
So I guess if we're talking favorites, I mean, mine's obvious. It's going to be Elf for one.
Oh, Elf
but
was
it's
such
also
a good movie.
Replacements.
The Replacements was a really good
I'm not
movie.
even a football fan, but I love that movie. And
that was
he's
really
one of the main
movie.
reasons.
Wait, what
Keanu
role
Reeves.
did he play in Replacements?
He played the linebacker.
He played one of the linebackers. He was like a former cop.
Yeah.
Replacements was fantastic.
Yeah,
that was a fun movie.
Another good Keanu Reeves movie too.
He's done a lot of cool voices too. He's done stuff for Family Guy, Rugrats, Buzz Lightyear of Star Command,
Dilbert,
Robot Chicken. He's done Hercules,
the TV show.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a lot of cool voice acting. I didn't know he
really
did that
has.
much.
He has like extensive credits as far as being an actor and a voice actor is concerned. I mean, the man's done just about it all at this point.
Yeah, he's done anything you could possibly think of. I did not realize he was Mr. Patrick in My Name Is Earl.
Yep.
He's done a lot. He's done a lot of he's done a lot of one-offs. Like, he'll be like in one episode of a show. Like, he was in one episode of Monk.
Yeah.
Another fantastic show.
Right.
So
he's done
right.
a lot of cool stuff.
So I think we need to head towards the end here.
Can we please just mention real quick that he also was pre-Vizsla, so just, the voice of.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So
we have to mention that.
Let's wrap it up with Dustin's favorite thing to talk about and wax poetic, and that is, let's talk about him saving Star Wars.
He brought it back, guys.
He did.
It was on the verge of death, and him and Dave Filoni in his awesome cowboy hat swooped in like the Millennium Falcon and saved the franchise.
Saved us from Rian Johnson.
The grips of Kathleen Kennedy.
Right.
That's all I got to say about that. Great job.
Yeah. Okay, like I just want to throw this out there.
Go ahead.
Kathleen Kennedy. She's getting up there in age and everything, and obviously not a lot of people like her. And on my previous podcast, we talked about how maybe she's the best thing for the franchise. Star Wars always garners a lot of hate from fans and anti-fans alike. And maybe they need a lightning rod, right? And that's Kathleen Kennedy to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But the person who takes over, right, is Jon Favreau. Is there another person that can take the role?
It's only Filoni. You have two people. It's Favreau or Filoni, whichever one you want. Either would be fine.
Like, Favreau's gotta do it though. He's the producer. Like, Filoni's definitely.
So I would say, if you're going to pick and make it a game plan, you build it around those two. But it would be Favreau in the seat of Kathleen Kennedy.
Yeah.
Producing and managing while you have the creative flow going through Filoni. But those two need to be work together and build. That's what you would have to do.
Correct.
Yep.
Paul's right with the word.
That's the only thing that if you want to have Star Wars content into on when we're in our 50s, 60s, and it be good, and hopefully that not too many people will be pissy about it. They always will because it's Star Wars, but that's how you do it. You have Filoni be the creative, you have Favreau be the control, and you'll be fine.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's just one thing I really wonder is, can we get to a point, even if they are creating good content, do you think we could get to a point where there's like a unified fan base that isn't shitty, or do you think it's just inherently something about being a Star Wars
we're all going to
fan?
be terrible.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. I mean, any type of fan base is going to have their terrible fans.
Yeah, there's the Harry Potter jerks. There's
no. There is. I'm sorry. I've been around a lot of fans of different franchises. For some fucking reason, Star Wars is this weird
Oh, there's
nobody. We're the tippity top.
Like love child from brother and sister in West Virginia of fans that
Star
just
Wars
get
fans.
they get so mad for no reason, and it's like I don't understand, man. For me, even if it's bad it's like pizza. Even if it's bad pizza, it's still good pizza. It's pizza. Star Wars, even if it's not the best thing in the world, still fucking Star Wars, and we should be happy that we're getting any content. Because is the entire movie bad or are parts bad?
I've had some really shitty pizza, so that I would never eat again.
As long as it's edible, pizza's good. I don't care what anybody says. There's definitely better pizza, but
okay, Jordan, to your point, it's like a buffet, right? There's definitely stuff at that buffet that nobody ever touches.
Sure.
Right.
But then there's also stuff at that buffet that eventually you're like, maybe I should try that. And then that's the prequels.
Yeah. Sometimes,
my point.
Yeah. You go in there and you're like,
and then
weird ass shit.
Guess what? You're like, no, you're like this right here. I don't want to try that. But I'll try it. It was okay. Yeah. Oh, but look, on this buffet, they added all this new stuff that somehow complements what this side of the buffet is doing. So I'm gonna have this and this together, almost like a fine wine and a cheese coming together. And that's all the extra content that they made to make the prequels better. And we just have to wait a little bit.
Like, okay, you have your main stuff you go to. They're awesome, right? And you look over and you see that pizza and you're like, I know this is a Chinese buffet, but it's pizza. It can't be that bad, right? And you eat it and you're like, wow, okay, that was pretty awful, but it's still pizza, right? Yeah. That's Obi-Wan, the television.
Look, Star Wars fans are like Philadelphia fans.
Yep.
Oh, God.
Philadelphia sports fans, yes.
Philadelphia sports fans are really bad. I mean, they've snowballed Santa Claus, so
next time we get on here, it's gonna be a lot of people from Philly like, hey, fuck you. You ever had a fucking chopped cheese?
Fuck Jagoff. No, wait, that's Pittsburgh. My bad.
Y'all are gonna get me fucking murdered after this. Like, I can't say nothing. Like, I don't agree with anything you're saying right now.
You have a Philly family, don't you?
Yeah, like all of my step family is from Philadelphia. They are like diehard fans, including Jamie, who I'm pretty sure would murder me if I took up your stance.
Jamie doesn't.
But at the same time, he's not defending Philly either. So just let that be known.
But they are well aware of their horribleness when it comes to sports. Philadelphia sports fans are self-aware. They really are. They just accepted it and moved on.
Yeah.
And you can go fuck yourself while they eat their cheesesteak, Yeah.
Yep, pretty much. So I think that's a good episode for tonight. I think that's good.
Okay. Well, I hope everybody enjoyed us talking about DC Comics.
Right?
Yeah. And Jon Favreau.
We should apologize for getting off the beaten track.
We should probably honestly do an episode of DC just talking about like how to build DC. How would you build it?
Let's
Are you saying we need a defender?
No, I don't need.
I
don't need the defender returns.
We need you to defend
his returning.
Let's do that in January. That sounds like fun.
We need you to defend when there's something to defend. This is to build.
Let's
the DC builder.
Let's kick off the new year with us trying to figure out the DC universe. I think that sounds like fun. But for now, that's going to be it for us for tonight with our first director's cut. Hold on, let me see if I can.
I like that as a title, like the
Director's
director's
cut?
cut series.
Wow.
That's cool, right?
Yeah,
Is it time to spin the wheel of directorality?
Oh, yeah,
I'm
we have
actually-
to spin. Share your
we
screen.
do have to spin. Hold on. I need to find it because. Where are you, my?
It's gonna be like
Randomizer.
remember we have superhero burnout, and then it's gonna be like James Gunn.
It's gonna be
If it's James
Gunn.
Gunn, we got to spin again. I don't care if it is Fate. Like,
It's James Gunn. It's Chris
Because it'd
Nolan.
be
Well, no,
superheroes and
'cause
Star
then-
Wars
Hold
again.
on,
Oh, wait.
because then we
No,
could talk
never
about DC more in depth, and it'd be relevant.
Yeah. Hold on. Where did I put it? Where'd it go?
I
I'm looking
hope
for
to
it.
God
Give me-
it isn't James Gunn or George Lucas, because we got the Life Day episode coming up. Like, we can't.
That's
we
true.
can't,
Next week is.
Which,
gonna
by the
be-
way, Dustin had a birthday.
I had a birthday.
Dustin did
He
have
had
a birthday.
He's old as fuck.
Yeah.
I mean,
Not as old
like
as
I'm
me.
old with my regular hair.
How old are you now,
Right.
Dustin? Is it 36, 35?
Whoa.
I don't know.
35.
35. Okay, I'm not far
right.
off. You made it seem like I was far off. Are we spinning?
We are spinning.
All right.
Are you guys ready? Here we go.
Tarantino.
Yes.
Okay, hold on.
Tarantino.
Edgar Wright.
Just-
Edgar
just-
Wright.
okay,
Edgar
stop,
Wright.
Stop.
Tarantino. Wait,
Just
hold
so
on.
you guys know,
Can you
Who's
take-
stopping?
Can you take Jon
we will-
Favreau off?
can. Yes. Hold on. Just so everybody knows and everyone is well aware, we will not be doing this episode until January
Okay,
because
that's fine.
we have our December episodes and
That's
our
fine.
Christmas theme. So this will be the first or second episode of January.
All right.
when
All
we
right.
get
Let's
into it.
let's see.
You
who
guys
we're doing,
ready?
guys.
Let's
Ooh.
spin the wheel.
Dun, dun,
Oh, I
dun,
forgot
dun,
Mel
dun,
Brooks was
dun,
on
dun,
there.
dun, 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 dun,
That'd be
dun,
fun.
dun, dun, dun,
Young
dun,
Frankenstein.
dun, dun, dun. It's gonna be James Cameron.
Blazing Saddles.
James
Hell
Cameron.
yeah.
James Cameron.
Okay. I mean, I don't really care to talk about like the Titanic that much.
We
but
will
sure.
be talking
We got
James
Avatar.
Cameron.
Out of all of his movies that you don't want to talk about, it was Titanic, not Avatar.
There's so much more. I
the
promise
most
you.
overrated piece of shit there is. Like,
So-
Avatar is so
Reach.
bad.
So when we hit January, we'll be discussing James Cameron. Some remember this because I might not. But until then, you can find us over at Facebook, facebook.com/Centerway Society. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Podcasts, all those podcast places. Just look for the Centerway Society. It's us. Thank you for listening. We will be back next week with our Life Day episode. Led
Happy
by
Life
our
Day.
Happy Life Day. It's our birthday present to Dustin.
Thank you.
So
I get to make you guys suffer while you talk about more Star Wars.
And don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, on March 29th, we will be frozen to death in New York City.
yes, we will.
Yes.
It'll be great. The
That's why I
last thing
look
we
like a-
see will be our tear ducts being frozen.
And
or
we might
something
be
along those
impaled
lines.
with an ice sickle. You know.
God
But we
only
won't. We
knows.
won't be.
Man,
We
man,
won't be
man, man,
scared
man.
to death. We'll be saddened to death.
Exactly. Anyways, thanks guys for listening. We'll see you next week.
Look at-